Hey there people, thanks for checking out this video of our most anticipated games of 2022. I know it's hard to believe that 2022 is even here, but at least we have some interesting game releases to talk about. This list is subject to change as some of these games don't have an actual release date yet. Some developers have only stated that the game will launch in 2022 without giving a specific date. In my opinion, games without a release date will be likely delayed until next year. However, games without specific dates can still make the list, and the list is going to be ranked as 10 being the least anticipated and 1 being the most. Alright, and I think that's a good enough intro. Let's get on to number 10. Starting us off at number 10, we have Dying Light 2, Stay Human, releasing for the Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, and Microsoft Windows on February 4th, 2022. Developed and published by Techland, Dying Light 2 Stay Human is the next chapter in the Dying Light series. Dying Light 2 is a survival horror action RPG game where your decisions will influence the narrative and change the environment as you play through the story. The game is set 15 years after the apocalypse and after the events of the last game. In this game, you'll be parkouring through a ruined city, interacting with the various factions, and evading hordes of zombies come nighttime. From the trailer, we can see that there's a variety of interesting mutated monster enemy types to populate this apocalyptic setting. This game will feature a class system to develop your character on top of an extensive crafting system. All in all, Dying Light 2 Stay Human looks like a fun time and I can't wait to give it a shot. Moving on to number 9, taking this spot will be Sons of the Forest, releasing for Microsoft Windows on May 20th, 2022. Developed and published by End Night Games, Sons of the Forest is the much anticipated sequel to their survival horror hit, The Forest, which released back in 2014. Based on what we've seen so far, we can safely conclude that there will be similar survival horror elements to this game. In the trailer, we can see that there's a crafting system in the game. Hopefully, we can assume that it will be implemented at least as well as it was in the last game in the series. In this game, you'll be fighting cannibals, building stuff, unraveling crazy paranormal conspiracies. If that's the kind of stuff that you're into, then this game is for you. The new graphics in the gameplay trailer looked amazing, and they really seem to be taking full advantage of the Unity engine. I'm anticipating the game will feature a co-op system similar to how it worked in 2014's The Forest, so you can hopefully unravel this mystery with a friend. The game looks creepy, dark, and mysterious, and I'm very much looking forward to this one. Coming in at number 8, we have Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora, releasing for Xbox, PlayStation, Microsoft Windows, Amazon Luna, and Google Stadia in 2022. Published by Ubisoft and developed by Massive Entertainment, Ubisoft Dusseldorf, and Ubisoft Shanghai. This upcoming open-world game is based on the James Cameron film series, Avatar. In the game, players are going to be exploring the never-before-seen western frontier of Pandora. The game world is supposed to be very rich and detailed, and it's releasing alongside the next Avatar film. So far, there's no set date for the game, but the new movie is opening in box offices on December 16th, 2022. Let's keep our fingers crossed that this one can make the 2022 deadline with the gameplay still intact. Taking our 7th spot, we have Pokemon Legends Arceus, releasing for the Nintendo Switch on January 28th, 2022. Developed by Game Freak and published by Nintendo and the Pokemon Company, Pokemon Legends Arceus is set in an open world and is shaping up to revolutionize the Pokemon world and how we interact with it. Arceus is set in the old Sinnoh region known as Hisui and will be the first Pokemon game in 25 years to not have 2 different versions on release. In Arceus, you're hired by the Hisui Galaxy Expeditionary Team as part of the Survey Corps to compile data for the first ever Pokedex. In some ways, the game departs from the previous games in the series. You won't only be catching them all, you will also need to observe them in the wild so you can document their attack moves and their behaviors. Arceus is introducing many new features that are set to shake the foundations of Pokemon as we know it. This is one that I sure don't want to miss. Claiming the 6th spot on our list, we have Gran Turismo 7, releasing for the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 on March 4th, 2022. Gran Turismo 7 is developed by Polyphony Digital and published by Sony Interactive Entertainment. Gran Turismo 7 is the first game in the series for the next generation hardware and is quickly shaping up to be the most anticipated racing game to release this year. Gran Turismo 7 is introducing some incredible new features to make the game look and feel more realistic than ever before. Gran Turismo 7 is set to be the ultimate racing simulation. Not an arcade-style racer like Forza, this could be the true successor to Gran Turismo 3 that we've all been waiting for. The new graphical updates and the addition of ray tracing means that Gran Turismo 7 is shaping up to be an ultra-realistic and an ultra-fun experience. The only downside that we can see is this gem will be a PlayStation exclusive, so hopefully you can score a PlayStation 5 if you don't already own one. Alright, on to number 5, and it is one that I am personally excited for, and that is Hogwarts Legacy, releasing for the Xbox, PlayStation, and Microsoft Windows platforms sometime in 2022. Hogwarts Legacy is developed by Avalanche Software and published by Warner Bros. Interactive Entertainment. The game is set in the world of the Harry Potter book series. However, it's set in the late 1800s instead of the 1990s. Hogwarts Legacy will be an open-world RPG where the player's choice should play a significant role in the game. Players will pick their wand, choose their house, and you will also choose how you morally align yourself within that house. There will be player companions as well, and the game is said to have crafting systems for both spells and potions. The game has been building hype since an initial footage leak back in 2018, and with the clock ticking down on a 2022 release, we're all very invested to see how this one pans out. Now that brings us to our next game on the list, and boy, is it a big one. At number 4, we have Elden Ring, releasing for Xbox, PlayStation, and Microsoft Windows on February 25th, 2022. This much hyped and anticipated title is developed by From Software and published by From Software and Bandai Namco. This massive new title even managed to collaborate with George R.R. Martin, who provided the foundational material for the game's narrative. Elden Ring seemingly takes all of the best combat elements of From Software's other titles and is combining them for their new IP's combat system. In this new combat system, players are going to be sneaking and jumping like in Sekiro, and rolling and dodging like the Dark Souls series. In Elden Ring, you'll also be allowed to summon spirits to aid you in battle. Elden Ring promises to be a completely new game from other From Software titles. The game has so much going right, it's hard to see anything going wrong. I think people might be disappointed this game isn't even higher on the list, but in the top spots, it's a very close call. And this year we have a lot to be excited for in the gaming world. Moving on now to our top 3, and coming in hot, right at number 3, is Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl, releasing for Xbox and Microsoft Windows on April 28th, 2022. Developed and published by GSC Game World, Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl is the long-awaited return to the cult classic game series that millions of fans have been waiting for. If you're a fan of Fallout or the Metro series, then you should feel right at home in this world of horribly mutated monsters, deadly radiation, and energy anomalies that will kill your character faster than you can say Stimpak. In this game, you will be scavenging the post-apocalyptic Chernobyl exclusion zone. The game draws inspiration from the book Roadside Picnic, published in 1972, 14 years before the actual Chernobyl disaster. Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl is an open-world, first-person shooter survival horror game. Ammo, healing items, and food are scarce, and the enemies are plentiful. Players will need to engage each enemy carefully and make the most of the environment and every bullet to succeed. I highly recommend this series, and hopefully this will be a great starting point for newer players after a 13-year gap since the last game. Now moving into our number 2 spot, and that honor goes to Zelda Breath of the Wild 2, releasing for the Nintendo Switch in 2022. Now I want to mention that the name Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 is likely a placeholder until they think of something more specific to this new game. Developed by Nintendo Entertainment Planning and Development and published by Nintendo, Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 is the much anticipated continuation of the Legend of Zelda game series. With a 5-year break since the last game in the series, fans are eager to see what the next chapter will hold in store. The game footage we do have is rather limited, but from what we can see, it looks very much like a sequel to the last game with a similar art and combat style. One thing we noticed in the trailer is the new Sheikah-style arm augmentation that Link has, allowing him to manipulate objects like the Sheikah Slate in the 2017 Breath of the Wild. It looks like this sequel is shaping up to be a classic. Let's just hope that we can get a real release date soon before it gets pushed into 2023. Alright, so here we are finally at number 1, and claiming the honor of my most anticipated game releasing this year is Starfield. Starfield is releasing on November 11th, 2022, and is developed by Bethesda Game Studios and published by Bethesda Softworks. Starfield is an open-world action RPG first-person shooter that has been in the works for an incredible 25 years. Hopefully this game can prove to be a return to form for Bethesda after some of the disappointments with Fallout 76. Bethesda has provided some of my favorite games of all time, and nothing would make me happier than to see them nail this one. Starfield is the first game to use the new Creation Engine 2, which nearly updates everything about the old Creation Engine. The setting of Starfield will be somewhat realistic and grounded when compared to a world with magic like the Elder Scrolls series. However, exploring this sci-fi setting will provide another sort of ultimate adventure. The mechanics of the world will feel similar to other Bethesda games in that they will be full of interactable objects and places and people to visit. There will be at least 2 spacefaring factions to interact with while venturing through the stars. Hopefully, with worlds and cultures to discover, there will be many reasons to replay this one and you won't just see it all in one playthrough. From everything we've seen, and from the words of the god Todd Howard himself, this game appears to be a very important one for the company. They have a lot on the line, but thankfully, it seems like they're treating this project with the utmost importance. I believe that this game will live up to the hype and will provide many memorable experiences over hundreds or thousands of hours. Thanks for making it this far in the video. Let us know in the comments if you think we missed something or said something dumb. Also, please consider subscribing to the channel. We plan to create a variety of content, and we hope you'll be there to support us throughout our journey. Thanks again, and have a wonderful day.